Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to today's special deep dive presentation. We are standing on the precipice of a monumental shift in the landscape of women's tennis.
And if you have not been paying close attention to the WTA Tour over the past few weeks, you are missing out on one of the most electrifying underdog stories in the modern era of the sport. We are here to talk about a revelation, a seismic wave that is currently disrupting the established hierarchy of professional tennis. The headline that is sending shockwaves across the globe is absolutely staggering. Top 14 in the WTA finals race. Let that sink in for a moment. Alexandra Eala has surprised the entire world, and she has officially run into the top 8 of the 2026 season's most elite performers. This is not just a passing headline or a temporary spike in form. This is the arrival of a superstar. For months, the tennis world has been dominated by the usual suspects, the reigning queens of the court who have maintained a stranglehold on the highest echelons of the rankings. But right now, there is a new name commanding the spotlight, a 21-year-old phenom from the Philippines who has taken the grass court season by storm and completely rewritten the script of the 2026 tennis narrative. Alexandra Eala is currently sitting at a career-high ranking of world number 28, making her the highest-ranked Filipino player in the history of the WTA Tour. But even more impressively, her recent surge has catapulted her squarely into the conversation for the year-end WTA Finals, a prestigious tournament reserved strictly for the absolute best of the best. She is currently inside the top 14 of the race to the finals, and if you isolate her performance over the last 2 months, she is playing like a definitive top 8 player in the world. This is the kind of breakthrough that analysts predict might take years to materialize, yet Eala has condensed a lifetime of potential into a breathless, awe-inspiring 5-week tear that culminated in one of the most historic runs we have ever witnessed at Wimbledon. She has been voted the WTA star of the swing, capturing roughly 90% of the fan vote and beating out established titans of the game. This is a player who entered the year fighting to solidify her place on the main tour, and who is now actively dismantling Grand Slam champions on the game's biggest stages. From capturing her second career WTA 125 title in Birmingham, to launching a devastatingly effective campaign in Berlin, and ultimately executing the upset of the year against defending champion Iga Swiatek on center court at the All-England Club, Eala's trajectory is nothing short of meteoric. Today, we are going to break down every single facet of this extraordinary journey. We will analyze the mechanics of her game, the tactical brilliance she has deployed against top-tier opponents, the historical significance of her rise for Philippines and Asian tennis, and exactly what she needs to do to officially punch her ticket to the WTA Finals. Buckle up, because the story of Alexandra Eala's 2026 season is a masterclass in resilience, evolution, and sheer, unadulterated talent. To truly understand the magnitude of Alexandra Eala's current standing in the WTA Finals race, we have to contextualize where she started this year and the monumental hurdles she has overcome to reach this pinnacle. Coming into the 2026 season, Eala was already a known commodity in tennis circles. As a former junior world number 2 and a U.S. Open girls singles champion, the expectations resting on her left-handed baseline game were immense. She was heavily touted as a prodigy who would eventually put Philippine tennis on the map. However, transitioning from junior dominance to consistent success on the senior WTA Tour is notoriously one of the most brutal crucibles in professional sports. It is a transition that breaks many promising talents. Eala's early 2026 season was characterized by the typical growing pains of a young professional navigating the grueling, week-in and week-out grind of the tour. She experienced early exits at the Australian Open and struggled to find deep runs during the Middle East swing, bowing out in the first round of Qatar Open. But the first glimmers of a massive evolution began to shine through during the Sunshine Double in North America. At the Miami Open, Eala showcased a newfound physical resilience and tactical maturity. She battled her way into the round of 16, proving that she could string together high-quality wins at a WTA 1000 event. She navigated past dangerous opponents, demonstrating an upgraded serve and a much more potent two-handed backhand, a shot that has always been her bedrock, but was now firing with devastating pace and precision. Even though her run in Miami ended at the hands of the incredibly crafty Karolina Machova, the tennis world took notice. Eala was no longer just a talented prospect. She was becoming a dangerous, main draw threat who would go toe-to-toe with the elite. As the tour transitioned to the European red clay, Eala faced the ultimate test of patience and point construction. Clay demands a heavy, spinning ball, incredible stamina, and the ability to slide and defend out the corners. Eala's results on the dirt were a mixed bag, reflecting a period of intense learning and adaptation. She secured a solid win over Julia Grabber and Linz, but faced tough losses in Stuttgart against Leila Fernandez and early exits in Madrid and Rome. The clay season culminated in a disappointing first-round loss at the French Open to Iva Jovic. For many young players, a harsh clay court swing can derail their confidence heading into the shortest and arguably most challenging part of the calendar, the grass court season. Grass is unforgiving. It requires a low center of gravity, rapid reflexes, shortened backswings, and an aggressive first-strike mentality. Historically, players who struggle to generate pace or who rely heavily on high-bouncing topspin find themselves completely neutralized on the lush lawns of Europe. But this is precisely where Alexandra Eala decided to flip the script and shock the world. Instead of retreating, she adapted with terrifying speed. The true turning point of her 2026 campaign, the catalyst that ignited her surge into the top 14 of the finals race, began at the Birmingham Classic. Entering the tournament as a top seed in a highly competitive WTA 125 field, Eala played with a chip on her shoulder. She systematically dismantled her opposition, dropping only 2 sets throughout the entire event. She exhibited a masterful understanding of grass court mechanics, utilizing a heavily sliced serve to slide the ball away from returners and flattening out her formidable forehand to rush her opponents. The Birmingham final was an absolute epic, a grueling 2-hour and 38-minute battle against her former doubles partner, the dangerous Nikola Bardunkova. After dropping the first set 5-7, Eala showcased a mental fortitude that had become the hallmark of her 2026 season. She didn't panic. She didn't overhit. She systematically adjusted her return position, stepped inside the baseline, and began suffocating Bardunkova's second serve. Eala rallied to win the next 2 sets 6-3, 7-5, saving crucial break points in the final game to secure her second career WTA 125 title. When she lifted that trophy, it wasn't just a tournament victory. It was a profound statement of intent. It was a moment she proved she possessed the versatility to conquer multiple surfaces. From Birmingham, the momentum became a tidal wave. She rolled into the prestigious Berlin Tennis Open, a WTA 500 event packed with top-tier talent. Here, Eala proved that her Birmingham title was no fluke. She executed a masterclass in the round of 16 against none other than Elena Rybakina, one of the most fearsome power players on the tour, before facing the highly experienced Alina Svitolina in the quarterfinals. Eala defeated Svitolina in straight sets 6-4, 6-4, showcasing a spectacular display of counterpunching and aggressive transition tennis. She was absorbing Svitolina's pace and redirecting it down the lines with pinpoint accuracy. Reaching the semifinals of the WTA 500 on grass was a monumental achievement, pushing her ranking higher and accumulating massive points for the finals race. Although she ultimately fell to the eventual Wimbledon champion Linda Noskova in that Berlin semifinal, Eala had firmly established herself as a genuine threat on grass. And then came Wimbledon, the grandest stage in tennis, the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. This is where legends are forged, and this is where Alexandra Eala immortalized her 2026 season. Entering the main draw as a 29th seed, she carried the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders. No Filipino singles player had ever advanced past the third round of major in the Open era. Eala was determined to shatter that ceiling. She opened her campaign with a clinical victory, finding her rhythm and acclimating to the unique pressure of the championships. In the second round, she faced Maya Joint, avenging a previous loss by coming back from a set down to win 3-6, 6-2, 6-love. The third set was a bagel, an absolute masterclass in dominance where Eala found her supreme grass court flow, striking winners at will and suffocating Joint's offense. But the match that changed everything, the match that caused the tennis world to collectively drop its jaw, happened in the third round on the hallowed grounds of center court. Alexandra Eala found herself staring across the net at the defending champion, the formidable world number 3, Iga Swiatek. Swiatek, known for her suffocating movement and heavy topspin, was a heavy favorite. Most analysts predicted a routine victory for the defending champion, but Eala stepped onto center court not with fear, but with absolute conviction. The first set was an absolute dogfight, a mesmerizing showcase of baseline brilliance. Swiatek tried to impose her physical dominance, grinding heavy forehands cross-court, but Eala used her left-handed geometry to perfection. She served out wide to the Swiatek backhand, opening up the court, and then fired devastating flat forehands down the line. The set went to a tiebreak, and the tension was palpable. In a marathon tiebreak that had the crowd on the edge of their seats, Eala held her nerve, saving set points and executing a viral, jaw-dropping diving shot to win the breaker 11-9. That diving volley wasn't just a highlight reel moment. It was a physical manifestation of her absolute refusal to lose. Winning the first set against Swiatek on center court is one thing. Sustaining that level to close out the match is another entirely. Champions like Swiatek always push back. But in the second set, Eala didn't just hold her ground. She accelerated. She broke Swiatek's serve early, returning with incredible depth and neutralizing the Polish star's aggressive court positioning. Eala's serve, which had historically been a liability, was suddenly a weapon, hitting at spots with pinpoint accuracy and yielding crucial free points. Eala closed out the second set 6-2, securing arguably the biggest upset of the entire tournament and the defining victory of her young career. The crowd erupted. Social media exploded. Alexandra Eala had not only broken the curse for Filipino players at majors, advancing to the second week, but she had dethroned a defending champion with a brand of fearless, aggressive tennis that nobody saw coming. Her historic run at Wimbledon eventually came to an end in the round of 16, falling in a highly competitive three-set battle to Jasmine Paolini, but the damage was already done. Eala walked away from the All-England club, sitting at a career-best number 28 in the world. More importantly, the massive influx of ranking points from her title in Birmingham, her semifinal in Berlin, and her second-week appearance at Wimbledon completely transformed her standing in the WTA finals race. By securing these high-stakes victories, she leaped over dozens of established players, planting her flag inside the top 14. When you isolate the points accumulated just during the grass court swing, Eala is statistically performing inside the top 8. She is playing elite, top-tier tennis, displaying a level of tactical maturity and mental resilience that suggests she is not just a flash in the pan, but a permanent fixture at the top of the women's game. Let's take a moment to deeply analyze the technical evolution of Alexandra Eala's game, because this surge into the top 14 of the finals race is not born of luck. It is a result of meticulous technical refinements and a brilliant strategic overhaul. Eala is a left-hander, which immediately gives her a distinct geometric advantage on the court. Her left-handed serve naturally swings away from her right-handed opponent's backhand on the ad side, generating crucial weak returns. Earlier in her career, Eala's serve lacked the necessary pace to truly trouble top players. It was functional, but not formidable. However, working closely with her coaching team, she has notably altered her ball toss, throwing it slightly further into the court. This subtle biomechanical adjustment allows her to transfer her body weight more efficiently through the kinetic chain, resulting in significantly more miles per hour on her first serve and much heavier kick on her second serve. This improved serve was the bedrock of her grass court success, allowing her to hold serve comfortably and apply constant. Furthermore, her two-handed backhand, which has always been a beautiful and natural shot, has evolved from a defensive tool into a lethal weapon of offense. Eala has a remarkable ability to take the ball incredibly early on the backhand side, absorbing her opponent's pace and redirecting it down the line with devastating accuracy. On the low-bouncing grass courts, taking the ball early is paramount, and Eala executed this flawlessly, constantly rushing players like Swiatek and Svitolina, denying the time to set up their heavy ground strokes. But perhaps the most significant improvement is her forehand. In the past, her forehand could occasionally break down under heavy pressure, prone to dropping short in the court. In 2026, Eala has flattened out the trajectory of her forehand, hitting through the ball rather than just brushing up the back of it. This flatter, more penetrating shot cuts through the court, keeping her opponent's pin behind the baseline and allowing her to dictate the terms of the rally. Mentally, Alexandra Eala has undergone a complete metamorphosis. The WTA Tour is a psychological meat grinder. It requires a relentless ability to bounce back from adversity, to forget missed opportunities, and to thrive under crushing weight of expectation. Eala's ability to navigate the pressure cooker environment of center court against a defending champion speaks volumes about her psychological fortitude. She is no longer intimidated by the aura of top-ranked players. She steps onto the court with profound belief in her own game plan, executing with a cold, calculated precision that is reminiscent of veteran Grand Slam champions. This mental toughness is the intangible X factor that separates top 50 players from top 10 players, and Eala has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that she possesses the mental hardwiring required to compete for the biggest titles in the sport. The implications of Eala's rise extend far beyond her own personal trophy cabinet. They represent a monumental paradigm shift for Asian tennis, and specifically for the Philippines. The Philippines has an incredibly passionate sporting culture, but has never had a singular, transcendent tennis superstar to rally behind on the global stage. Alexandra Eala is single-handedly changing that reality. She is becoming a cultural icon, inspiring a massive wave of interest in tennis across Southeast Asia. Every time she steps onto court, she carries the pride of millions. Her success is proving that elite tennis champions can emerge in the region, challenging the traditional dominance of European and North American powerhouses. The impact of her Wimbledon run will be felt for generations, likely sparking a massive increase in grassroots tennis participation and funding across the Philippines. She is not just playing for ranking points. She is playing for history, and she is rewriting the record books with every single swing of her racket. As we look at the current landscape of the WTA finals race, Eala's position at top 14 is incredibly strong, but the job is not finished. The WTA finals, held at the end of the year, invite only the top 8 singles players based on the points accumulated during the current calendar year. To bridge the gap from 14 to the Elite 8, Eala must maintain this blistering momentum as the tour transitions back to the North American hard courts. This is where the true test of her endurance and consistency will take place. The hard court swing is brutal, unforgiving, and packed with massive point opportunities. Her schedule moving forward is a gauntlet of high-stakes tournaments. Eala is slated to begin her North American campaign at the Mubadala City DC Open in Washington, D.C., starting in late July. This WTA 500 event is the perfect launching pad, offering a deep field and a chance to quickly acclimate to the searing heat and high-bouncing hard courts of the American summer. From there, the stakes get exponentially higher. She is scheduled to compete in the massive WTA 1000 events, the National Bank Open in Toronto, and the Cincinnati Open. These two tournaments are the ultimate proving grounds. Deep runs in Toronto and Cincinnati offer massive swathes of ranking points, the kind of points that can instantly launch a player from the top 14 directly into the top 8. Eala has proven she can beat the best in the world on grass. Now she must prove she can consistently dismantle them on the concrete. Her game is tailor-made for hard courts. The true bounce and medium fast pace of the North American courts will reward her flattened-out forehand and her aggressive baseline positioning. The key for Eala will be physical preservation. The hard courts are notoriously demanding on the joints and the lower body. She must manage her schedule wisely, ensuring she peaks for the most important events while maintaining the explosive movement that makes her defense so impenetrable. If she can string together consecutive quarterfinals or semifinals at these WTA 1000 events, she will put immense pressure on the players currently sitting in the top 8. And of course, all roads lead to New York City and the final Grand Slam of the year, the U.S. Open. This is where Eala first tasted ultimate glory as a junior champion. Returning to the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center as a seeded main draw threat, fresh off a historic Wimbledon run, will be a surreal and powerful moment. The electric, chaotic energy of the New York crowd perfectly matches her aggressive, high-octane playing style. The U.S. Open offers 2,000 ranking points to the winner, making it the ultimate battleground for the WTA finals race. A second-week appearance, or perhaps even a deep quarterfinal or semifinal run in Flushing Meadows, would mathematically solidify her position as one of the 8 best players in the world for 2026. The narrative surrounding Alexandra Eala is no longer about potential. It is about actualization. We are no longer waiting for her to arrive. She is here, and she is taking names. Her surge into the top 14 of the WTA finals race is a testament to her relentless work ethic, her brilliant tactical evolution, and her unbreakable competitive spirit. She has surprised the world, defied the odds, and injected a massive dose of thrilling unpredictability into the upper echelons of women's tennis. The established hierarchy has been put on notice. When a 21-year-old phenom starts dismantling defending Grand Slam champions and lifting trophies with icy composure, the rest of the tour has no choice but to adapt or be left behind. As we wrap up this extensive deep dive, the question on everyone's mind is not whether Alexandra Eala has the talent to reach the WTA finals, but rather, who is going to stop her? She has all the momentum, the belief, and the requisite firepower to dominate the upcoming North American hardcourt swing. She is carrying the weight of a nation with grace and ferocious intensity. The race to the WTA finals has just been blown wide open, and Alexandra Eala is in the driver's seat. This concludes our comprehensive analysis of the biggest story in tennis right now. Keep your eyes glued to the courts in Washington, Toronto, and Cincinnati, because every single match Alexandra Eala plays from this moment forward carries massive historical and statistical weight. Will she crack the top 8? Will she make history for the Philippines once again by qualifying for the prestigious year-end championships? If the last 5 weeks are any indication, betting against Alexandra Eala is a losing proposition. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive. Make sure you stay tuned as we continue to track this phenomenal journey, because the 2026 season of Alexandra Eala is a blockbuster movie, and we are just getting to the best part. I'll see you all next time.